The final step to using quizzes and tests in Schoology is to actually assign the quiz to students, have them access the quiz, take it, and then view their grades. To do this, you need to first set up grading categories. This is a once-a-year thing, just like we do for Infinite Campus. I don't want to mislead you. We're not actually using Schoology's gradebook, but in order for Schoology to work properly with rubrics and quizzes and assignments, Schoology likes to have some grading categories. I just duplicated my same grading categories from IC, but I made it clear to my students that they should look at their grade always in Infinite Campus, never in Schoology, their overall grade. They could look at an individual quiz grade in Schoology, but they really need to go to IC for the official word, and they don't seem to have any problem with that. The first step to setting up grading categories is to actually go to the course that you want to set them up for. So I will click on Courses, and I will click on the sample course that I created for training. And once I get there, over on the left-hand side, I will see that there's an option to click on Gradebook. And once I click on Gradebook, I have a further option to click on Grade Setup right underneath Gradebook. I click on Grade Setup, and then I read my screen and notice the categories. It says I do not currently have any, and there's an Add button. So I click Add, and I'm going to call the first one Quiz/Test. I have an option to go with total points or percentages. I'll stay with total points, and I'll go to Create. I also have the option to weight categories if you want to do that, but like I said, since Schoology really only gathers the grades related to Schoology, I wouldn't put too much effort or time into worrying about the gradebook, with the exception of setting up the grading categories so that Schoology works properly. So now that I have two categories, I'm ready to go back to Personal Resources and assign the quiz. Before leaving this page, I click Save Changes. And now I'm all set to go. Personal Resources, where I know that my quiz exists that I already created. And once I get to Personal Resources, I want to click on the collection that I want, York Suburban Schoology Training. And here is my quiz, Demo Quiz. To assign it to the class, I click on the gear to the right, and I click Add to Course. I have a series of check boxes. I select the course and section or sections that I want to add it to. I have the option to add it to a folder if I have folders already set up. Set my point total, set my due date, and very importantly, pick my category, because that will allow the grade to actually be seen by students. So I click Quiz Test. Stick with numeric since it's a quiz. You'll notice here that any rubrics I've made are available, but for a quiz I would stick with straight numeric, and Add. And now the quiz is there for the student. So if I go to that course as the teacher viewing, and I look to see whether or not that quiz is actually now part of the course, it will be there. I click on Courses, 9th grade English, and there's the quiz, Demo Quiz. I'm going to flip over to another window. And now I'm Ethan. Now I'm a student that is enrolled in this course just for training purposes. I'm going to navigate to the course because I'm sitting in my English class and my teacher tells me to. And once I get to that English class, I can see the quiz. But if I click on it at this point in time, I'm going to get a notice that says that the quiz is not available, because the teacher has not yet released it. This is a security feature so that you can work ahead of time and not worry that kids are going to complete the quizzes before class. To make the quiz available, I simply go back as the teacher, right as the students are sitting down to take the quiz. I click on the quiz itself, and I have a series of tabs across the top. The one that is particularly interesting to me, Settings. Go into Settings, and change the availability of the quiz from Hide Now to Available Now. Alternatively, I can do Available Now until X time or Available from X until Y time. I'm going to go with Available Now, scroll down, click Save Changes. Before I do, notice that you can randomize overall question order. If questions are not sequential, you can do that. You can allow for the quiz to be resumable or not. This question review one don't be deceived. Even if you keep it as a no, students can still go back and look at all of their questions before they hit submit. But if you click that as a yes, what you get is when the students click on, when they've answered all the questions and they click the button to submit, their quiz and all of their answers pop up and they can scroll through and look at the whole thing before hitting their final submission. It's a nice feature, but don't think that you have to use it. Even if you leave it as a no, students can still go back and see questions as they're taking the quiz. I'm going to click on Save Changes and scoot back over as a student. So now I'm Ethan again. And if I refresh, I tell the students if they click on it too soon and they go, it's not available, I say refresh, I just made it available. So refresh the browser and the quiz is there. Now he can take the quiz, begin test or quiz, and I'm very quickly going to take this quiz. And I'm going to get them all right, but I'm going to write a poor essay. This is a blend of all their courses, apparently. Just go with it. Cardiovascular. I do want to get these right so you can see what it looks like. Cardiovascular and nervous system. And the YS mascot is a Trojan, and submit. Are you sure you want to submit the assessment? Yes. So now he has submitted. Let's go back over and be the teacher. I can click on the Settings tab, and while students are taking the quiz, I very often just click on that and kind of watch and see when their submissions come in. But if it's later that evening, later in my planning period, and I'm not in the screen anymore, to find quiz results, you can either click on the quiz itself, or you can go to your notification, or you can go to the reminders area. So Schoology tries to make it pretty intuitive. They're like, hey, you've got something to grade, you've got something to grade. So I click on the quiz itself. That's the way I like to go into it. And then I click on my results tab, which is actually already highlighted, and I can see that Ethan took the quiz. It says pending review because there's an essay question. If it's all multiple choice, fill in the blank, and ordering, or true false, then it's going to grade itself. But I have to go in and check that quiz essay. So I click on View Attempts, and now I see his attempt, and I have the gear. Gears are always good. Click on the gear and go to View or Edit. You have two options once you're here. You can grade all of Ethan's work in one sitting, or you can click on View by Question and grade all of the essays for each kid. Or in other words, if it were 5 short answers, I could grade all of number 1 for all the kids, then all of number 2 for all the kids. I like that because it helps me focus on what it is that I'm, what answer I'm really thinking of, and I don't have to keep asking, which question am I on? I know, but since we only have Ethan in this little example, you'll notice that next to question 2, the essay, there's a star out of 10, which means you need to grade this one. Now, he did a fantastic job on the objective questions, but on the subjective question, wow, he really didn't answer. All he said was that the Lomans are crazy. So I'm going to give that a 2 out of 10 and save the changes. And now he has an actual grade. If I go to my grade book, and I scroll down to the current grading period, I can see that he has a 92% in the class. Of course, there's only that one assignment at this point. If I click back over as Ethan, I can see that something has been graded, a new grade has been posted, and that tells him, hey, it's in there. Click on your grades, scroll down to your current grade period, and there's your quiz grade, a 92%. So that is how quizzing works. Now, the first few times you do it, you might be like me and think like, I did something wrong here. This isn't what it's supposed to look like. Please keep in mind that you can call me in a emergency situation. My extension is 8172. My cell phone is 495-1170. And if you call me and say, I have 20 people staring at me and this is not working, I promise you I'll come rescue you. It's well worth the investment of time to learn how to use this tool. You will spend so much less time grading when you are finished. So as you have questions, please let me know. But that concludes our look at quizzes and tests in Schoology.